Testing. 1, 2, 3. Alright. We're gonna come in. Alright. Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the High Five. I'm Jacob.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Lee.
Lee's joining us here today. He's our basically a disc golf specialist. I don't know. But he's played disc golf for a good bit, and we're going to do a little questionnaire with him, asking him a little here and there about disc golf and how it works. We're also going to dive into some other stuff today about Bucs and the Eagles this past week. Florida State's NIL problem, their probation they're about to get on, and Nick Saban retiring, and Kellen DeBoer taking over as his position. Also, a little update on transfer portal. So, and random story.
Oh, indeed, yes. Yeah. The random story.
Random story of the week.
Random story of the week.
You did a pretty good job with that.
I like that.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah. Alright, I guess to warm us up, we'll have the newbie get us going.
Alright, so I will start us off with the story of the week. So my story of the week, I actually have two, but we'll start off with one. So my first one is about my stepkid's soccer game. So we were having we started soccer about a month or two ago. We showed up to the practice, and the first practice, the person who was running the events, she tells us, "Yeah, y'all don't have a coach." So my girlfriend, she decides to take over, and she hops in. I was surprised. I didn't think she was gonna do it. So she hopped in, and we ended up actually coaching the soccer team of 4 to 6 year olds. And man, the 4 to 6 year olds, they are something else.
John to win in that game?
So the first game we lost. There was this one kid just running through the whole team, and then that was expected. It was our first game, we don't have one good boy on the team. It's all girls pretty much. Boys stand there like bricks. So, but that game we lost. It was like 4-8, something like that. And then the second game we just had this Saturday. It was a really close one. I didn't realize how close it was because they don't keep score in 4 to 6 years old. So it got really close, and it was about 1 minute left in the game. One of the parents told me it was tied up 6-6.
Dang.
Yeah. So the last minute of the game, I was like, okay, we got to score. We are on the brink of winning this game. So I send in our best players. I sub out one of the kids. Starts crying. Whatever. Just kidding. But we sub in the good players, and this one kid on their team just pokes the ball, dribbles right into our net. Let's score 6-7 now. We're down 1. I'm like, okay, we're fine. We got to try again. 30 seconds left, and it's just absolute chaos on the field. All the kids are running around. I'm screaming, running up the sidelines. And then the kid across the field again just taps it in. I toss my hat down. So we are currently 0-2.
Dang.
And I really thought coming into the season we were going to go undefeated. So it's been a real humbling experience. But yeah, that is my random story of the week, is that I now have the Bad News Bears as my team.
Bad News Bears did win again.
They did win. So hey, only up from here.
Yeah.
That was my fun story of the week.
No, what about you, Jacob? Let's get your
story of the week.
This one's about my cat. Man, his name's Caddy. It's not really just about his name's not just he's a cat. It's because it's after Caddyshack. So he could be my little caddy while golfing.
I like that. Yeah.
So this past Friday I had the day off, just chilling out around the house, and I got pretty bored, so I was like, I'm gonna go chip the golf ball for a bit. I go out there, I got my pitching wedge, got a couple of golf balls, and I start pitching it. Every time I hit the ball, that cat would follow that ball everywhere I would hit it.
Oh, really?
So
Just
honestly,
yeah,
while I was doing it, I'm thinking about using that cat as an actual caddy. So he can shag my balls and I can know exactly where the balls are going on the golf course. That cat's chill. One of the chillest cats I've ever been around. I'm actually not a cat person. I've always been a dog person. Mm-hmm. Y'all know that. I've been a boxer for 7 years. He was one of my best friends. I actually got a tattoo of him after he passed away. And after he passed away, we got catty. And for the longest time, I didn't like him. Not one bit. But after a while, we had him like a little bit before our dog passed away. And he started learning all the things that Titan used to do. Mm-hmm. Well, after Titan passed away, he kind of acts like a dog. He lets me pick him up, throw him over my shoulder. I can throw him up in the air. Won't freak out at all. I can call him. He'll be out there in the field. I'll say, "Gaddy, come in." Boom, comes right inside.
Sprints to the door.
Yeah. Better yet, same thing that Titan used to do. We'll open our cabinet door. He'll come over there. We pick up a treat, and he'll sit for a treat. We'll go sit. He'll sit down for it. Yeah. So
it's an indoor-outdoor cat?
Indoor, yeah.
That's the best way, because then you don't have to have a litter box in the house. Yeah. That's how our 2 cats are. Well, 1 cat now, but we had another cat that was indoor-outdoor, but we got 2 black cats, so that one, we don't know where that one went, but yeah, they're indoor-outdoor. Yeah. That's the best way to do it. I don't know how people have indoor cats. Sorry, Josh. Yeah.
I love it. Okay.
Sorry.
I guess my random story is, yes, me and Haley do co-own and co-parent a cat that is an indoor cat, which I love dearly.
He's a chill indoor cat.
Yeah, once again, I wasn't the biggest cat person. I'm always a dog person. Even though the last real pet I had was a cat, we weren't the best of friends, but I love dogs. This cat I love so much. It's insane how much somebody else, it was Haley's before. It was both of ours. She had it for a few years, but it's crazy to have it to where you have an animal and it's not technically yours to start off, but it's just adopting it or having a cat yourself pretty much, if that makes sense. But it's been nice having a cat, honestly. Not barking, no late night. The only thing is the cat's name's Little Red. He loves to open the cabinets.
Yeah.
So it'll be 2, 3 in the morning. I'll go to the bathroom, accidentally leave the bathroom door open. He'll just come in and just tap, 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 and then he'll hit it just enough to where it'll sling back and it'll be louder each time. He'll get in the cabinets. He'll do the bathroom mainly, and if he can't get in the bathroom, there's one in the kitchen. He loves it. I think he does it for attention because he knows I'm going to be hey, shh. Haley's sleeping. You need to stop doing this right now.
I'm already superstitious. That would freak me out hearing those cabinets late at night, man.
You think it's a ghost?
Go check it out.
Or our cat will just knock at the door, and
really?
What are you doing? It is 4:30 in the morning, and you're waking us up right now with your pawing and you're hitting the. That to say, I love animals. I love cats.
Well, you used to have ferrets back in the day too, right?
I didn't have ferrets. I did have rats, which may sound a little interesting, but my dad was super allergic to cats and dogs after he got back from Iraq. So we
rats
got
is
rats.
the answer, yeah.
They don't get them sick, and we had them for 10 years.
They were cool.
They were cool rats, for sure.
Ferret at one time, though.
I never had a ferret.
Damn.
My mom did not allow me to have ferrets because they stink.
Oh, they do stink. Oh, man.
But yeah, so I guess that's kind of my random story.
I like it.
Love the pet talk.
Yeah. I think it's funny that 2 people that were never really cat people ended up loving cats.
Loving
so
cats.
Much. Yeah.
Loving cats.
Cats are so much better than dogs, and I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. Well, that rounds out our random story of the week. So, to go from here, we will be talking about the Bucs versus the Eagles.
Dun, dun,
Right
dun.
after the break, correct? Or we?
Yeah, let me load this up real quick for our Bucs stuff. And all right, so we're back. We had to fix the camera real quick and move the table over because we kept kicking it, making a lot of noise. Y'all probably heard it, obviously.
Yeah, I had to tell them in break. I was like, I can literally hear every single thing that we're doing on this table or around this table. So you're going to hear a little bit of the squeaking of the chairs. That's just how it's going to be for a short period, but we will get chairs that are a lot less squeaky, I guess you could say.
Definitely, yeah.
A little chair ASMR.
Yeah.
So, Bucs versus Eagles. So I said
Bucs.
in our last podcast that I could see it happening, that I would take Buccaneers money line, which I did, but a few other, but besides the point. What a game.
That was a great game.
What a game.
Oh, that second half was beautiful.
The second half was beautiful. Baker looked great. The man could have had 500 yards if his wide receivers wouldn't drop the ball. Like, there were over, I think, 10 drops during that entire game where they were easy, at least 20, 30, maybe 40 touchdown. Like, there were so many miscues, but still, we come out victorious.
Yes. Oh, man. I tell you, there's something smelling good in Tampa right now. Like,
for sure.
Like, Baker is baking it up. Only if we can get Mike Evans to start catching the ball every now and again. Chris Godwin
He's
also.
hurting me.
Yeah, at least Chris Godwin did get that touchdown.
Yes, that was a nice little. It was a short throw, which kind of worked out because the DB just flew into the end zone.
Yeah.
glad they got the tutty. I didn't think it was going to be him. I thought Mike Evans was going to, come out, have a good game. It was okay.
In
Not
a
that
slump
great.
right now, but
Yeah.
he can always pick it up through the playoffs.
Without a doubt.
Hopefully
Without a
against
doubt.
Detroit.
Yeah, like you said though, their short game did look very good though from what I saw. First quarter and second quarter.
Exactly.
Running
The
and
running.
short passes, yeah.
It looked good. We actually looked. This game, and I'd probably say the Packers game.
Yes.
We've looked those are the
Yeah.
two best games that
Yeah.
Tampa Bay has had for sure this season, and hopefully they can keep it going here Sunday. I'm very eager to do it.
I feel like they have a chance.
I do. I think they do too.
Oh yeah, I feel like coming into Detroit, if we can lock down Goff, we'll automatically be in that. Because
without a doubt.
Goff had a decent game this past week, not the best, but if you look at what they scored and their yardage against, my mind just went blank. Holy cow!
Who they just played?
Yeah,
The Rams.
Rams.
Yeah.
The
Stafford.
revenge game. Yeah. They did well, but the Rams was not good at all.
They
Their
did not.
defense let loose a lot of plays. Like Jared Goff went 277 yards, and their whole entire yardage in total was 334. But the Bucs ended up having 428 total yards this past game.
Did you just say Jared Goff?
Yeah, it's the Lions quarterback.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah, like
You're right.
if we can keep Jared Goff's numbers down
Without a doubt.
like normal, I feel like we can do it. Our defense, if they can show up just like we did that second half against the Lions all 4 quarters, no doubt we will have that game in the bag.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, if you look at it, Jared Goff only had 27 passing attempts to Baker's 36 to Jalen's 35. I mean, if we keep him to where he's throwing the ball a lot, there might be some miscues. Our defense might be able to get in there, pressure him, maybe make a mistake. It's going to be an interesting game. It's going to be an interesting game
interesting.
for sure.
How is the Lions defense? How they play this year?
Lions defense is actually pretty good. They've kept a lot of people to a very low scoring almost every single game, except the Cowboys game. That came down to the wire. And they should have won that game.
Oh, they should have for sure.
But I even said last week, if the Bucs don't win it all, I want the Lions to win it all.
Mhm.
And I still stand by that. If the Bucs do not beat the Lions this next week, for sure, I want the Lions to win it all.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, if we do beat the Lions, do I think the Bucs are a Super Bowl winning team this year?
No.
Not really. No, I would be absolutely out of my mind if I said that. But do I think that they could make a run? It's like at least beating Goff, maybe even making it to the Super Bowl. That would be insane with Baker
It
Mayfield.
would be great to see.
Oh, it would be.
Plus, it would make Colin Cowherd just eat his socks. Because he's hated on Baker his whole entire career. And he's loved Jalen Hurts as soon as he got up into the NFL. He's sat there and he's talked nothing but good things about Jared Goff. Baker sat there this past week and put up double the numbers against Hurts. And almost 100 more yards compared to Jared Goff. Baker Mayfield's a great quarterback in my opinion. He just didn't have a great offensive line over there in Cleveland.
No.
And he obviously didn't have that over there with Carolina.
Uh-huh.
But with the Bucs, I feel like he's a very talented quarterback. He's an all-pro quarterback. But I feel like he's going to be the underdog that shows a lot of people up this year in this playoffs.
That would be amazing for our team, but just for him in general as a human being,
I
for
always
going
liked
through
Baker.
all
Yeah,
that
big
stuff
move,
at
yeah.
like Carolina, the Browns. I mean, after he left Oklahoma, everything changed.
A few years ago, I would not have seen Baker coming to Tampa, but after he's come here, yeah, it's a good fit for him. Yeah,
It is.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
He actually has confidence for probably the first time in his career since he's played at Oklahoma. I mean, it's crazy.
At the beginning of the season, I wasn't really too sure about Baker.
No,
But midway through the season, I was like, there's something up, and he has something ready to go. And he does, and it's showing. Hopefully he could just carry that on into every game after.
I was gonna say we should. I was gonna see if we could do a little game here. Play. See which, or we're gonna put our predictions maybe of who's gonna win each game coming up of the 4 playoff games.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was actually thinking about doing that, but totally forgot.
Yeah, I thought
it up.
that'd be a fun thing. So just to start off, what do y'all think the predictions and score for the Lions versus the Bucs game is gonna be?
Take the
Deep
first one.
sigh. Deep sigh.
I'd say.
I definitely think it's gonna be close.
Mm.
Not a blowout either way.
I think 24-17 Bucks.
24-17.
I'm thinking a 28 to 24 win Bucks.
There we go.
Okay. I'm thinking it's gonna be a little slower game, more defensive heavy. So I'm gonna say, let's go 21-17 Lions.
Oh, okay.
I think it's gonna be a close one, but
Alright.
21.
I do have to say the Lions have looked good from what I have seen now.
Yeah.
I'm not one. I don't know much about football. I have to clarify that now. But from what I have seen from highlights, the Lions do look good this year. So I think it'll be a close game. It could definitely swing either way, but I might put my money on the Lions this week.
Okay. All right.
Hope the Bucks hold true, but
So what was your final score again?
21-7 or
21-17.
2017, yeah.
So you're pretty much going for the under on the total point spread because it's at 48.5. So pretty much an entire touchdown less.
Dang.
I think it's going to be a slow game. I
You
think
it's going to be a slow game.
anything could happen.
All right.
Anything could happen.
Never know. We could have a segment called Lee's Bets.
So you're okay. So here's one little question. I guess we can really quickly put this into. Do you really honestly think? Let's say if you put $1,000 on the game, who do you think's actually going to win? You said the Lions.
Yeah, especially with Baker being new to the Bucs. I think like I said, I don't know much about football, but but I think it'd be a close one no matter what.
Okay.
Jacob,
How much money we put on the line?
1,000.
$1,000. Wow, that's a lot. See, I'm not good with bets, and you know this because every bet we've made has not turned out well for me.
So the Bucks point spread's a +6.5.
What's the
So Lions by 7, Bucks to pretty much lose by 7 or less
Honestly?
or win. But
How I've seen it, I would put money where my mouth is. What I said, I would put money on that.
you would do Bucks money line.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say I'd put $1,000 on the Bucks to cover. I don't know if I could put $1,000 on the Bucks to win because, like he was saying, Baker really isn't used to, I guess, going through this, and especially at this level. I mean, it I don't know exactly what the stat is, but even if he has had a playoff game, I don't even think he's won that playoff game.
I don't think he has.
Yeah, exactly. He's
Yeah.
made the playoffs, but never gotten past the wild card. So this is a completely new thing. But
yeah, it does
honestly,
get to him,
the heart in me wants to put it on the Bucks. I think the Bucks win, honestly, by a field goal late, or it's going to be a blowout.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. All right,
What's the next game?
let's do the next game. Yeah, we got Packers versus 49ers.
Ooh, I'm sorry, but
I think
I'm going 49ers. I'm sorry, Jacob Clark, but going 49ers.
so. I think the stereotypical thing would say to go 49ers, but since you're going 49ers, Jordan Love has looked absolutely amazing
He
these
has.
past 5 games. Like he's transitioned to like a massage quarterback, I guess if you could say, to a really decent quarterback who's actually probably going to have a really good future with the Packers and in the NFL. I don't know. I feel like, of course, it's the 49ers, but could they expose their quarterback? could they expose Purdy? Because they've done it. People have done it before this season. They've cracked it.
They have, yeah.
If you get it this right way, he's not a good quarterback at all. But he has weapons around him. He can move the ball, all that. But still, you have to look at who knows.
I think with the 49ers defense, I feel like they show up.
Yes.
I feel like the 49ers, it would be a low-scoring game, but I feel like the 49ers will pull it out.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I feel like they will. If not, I don't know. I feel like the Packers might pull a little close one.
I can see it, but yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Jacob on this. I think at 49ers by 7,
Okay.
by a touchdown at least. But yeah, from what I've seen at least.
Yeah, the only money I'm putting on that game is for Jordan Love to have probably like 1.5 touchdowns, and that's the only thing I'm touching. I'm not. That's going to be a.
As time tells,
interesting
though,
day.
playoff games can get crazy, so anything could happen.
Yeah,
People show up to play for money, play a whole different ball.
As we saw, Green Bay absolutely. Oh yeah, Green
Dude.
Bay absolutely slaughtering the Cowboys.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Oh my
That-
gosh.
that brought joyous tears
Oh.
to my eyes.
Oh my gosh. And the funny thing is, I was in Jacksonville over the weekend, and one of the, I don't remember who it was, but somebody said, "Oh, the Cowboys. Every single time they play Green Bay Wild Card Weekend, they lose."
Mm.
I was like, "Huh, that's strange." But everybody, money was like at one point it was like -10 Cowboys. Like they were gonna at least cover a decent amount.
Dang.
They killed them.
Yeah.
They absolutely killed them. Dak looked like a high school quarterback out there.
Dak's always like a high school quarterback when it comes to playoff time anyways.
Yeah, you're right about that.
All right,
Unfortunately.
next up we have the Texans versus the Ravens, and I am definitely gonna have to go Ravens on this one, all the way. I
Yeah,
always love the
CJ
Ravens. Yeah.
CJ Stroud has looked great, and their offense has started clicking recently, but definitely going Ravens on this one.
Yeah.
So yeah, CJ Stroud does have a strong performance. It is anybody's game, but yeah, I feel like Ravens here is a safe choice.
Oh, without a doubt. I feel like Lamar Jackson played very, 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 very well these past few games. I don't think that the Texans have enough to beat, Lamar. But who knows? Yeah, I'm going to take Baltimore. But
Best running back in the league.
Best running back in
best
the
running
league.
back in the
say,
league.
yeah.
It's just what people say.
Well, Jalen Hurts was trying to go for the rushing touchdowns this year, but it was just from a 1 yard out with a bunch of O-linemen pushing him into the end zone.
So I think we all can agree that the Ravens, but it's
Yeah.
gonna look real bad if the Texans pull that one out on.
Mhm.
And then of course last we have the Bills and then Kansas City Chiefs.
I'm taking, you know what? I'm going to take the very unpopular opinion. I'm taking Josh Allen in the playoffs over Patty Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs right now.
Fair enough.
I feel like we're going to see pretty much another Tampa Bay Philly game, except it's just going to be Tampa Bay is going to be the Bills, and then we're going to have Kansas City as the opposer. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like the Bills are going to at least win by 14.
Yeah, that'd be one heck of a Super
Yeah.
Bowl. Chiefs versus Bucs at the end. I'd
Bookmark
pay to
it.
see that. I'd pay to
Yeah.
see that.
Clip it right now. 14. Yeah.
Well, to
Bills
be
win by
honest,
14.
Bills by 14. I like it.
Really? You like the
No,
pick?
did you say you?
Yeah, Bills by 14.
That's
yeah.
a pretty good pick.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the Bills haven't beat Kansas City.
Yes, that is the hiccup. That's the hill that they have
Yeah.
to cross over, which, of course, the Bills, they're favored by 3.
But in all seriousness, I'm sick and tired of seeing Taylor Swift.
That,
So
I
I'm
think-
picking the Bills.
I think truly, I hate to say it, but I think the Swiftie effect's real, and I think the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl.
The Peacock theory. Do y'all think that is real? Have y'all heard about
Yeah.
that?
No,
please
not this.
please
So didn't
enlighten
inform
me.
me.
The Peacock theory about the last game Kansas City playing on Peacock was because of how big Taylor Swift has been these past couple months and how much Swifties have been watching NFL games so much.
Oh, yeah.
The theory is that they moved it to Peacock and had everybody pay all the subscriptions just to watch that game,
Mm-hmm.
was to make all that cash in on all the Swifties, just getting a little tiny glimpse of Taylor Swift through a frozen window. And honestly, I believe that. I could see that actually being true.
Oh yeah. I'm just ready for.
What's that going on?
Yeah, we got some portal news from. Is it your dad?
Straight from the source.
Sorry for the brief hold,
Oh yeah, Roberts is on the staff. Yeah.
but we will get to that momentarily.
Yes.
Shall we? Yeah.
All right. So that recaps our little section of NFL and the Bucs versus Eagles. Beautiful game. Beautiful game.
Beautiful game.
But to transition into another segment is our guest Lee.
What's up? Hello.
Lee, tell us a little bit about you.
So I am Lee Henderson, born and raised in Tallahassee, never left. And yeah, I've grown up here. One of my biggest hobbies, as you will find out, is disc golf. I'm very big into disc golf. It's kind of taken over my life a little bit, as any hobby does. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's very cool. It's a good sport. It's really good for anybody to play too. It's very accessible for all ages, and it's a lot of fun. But yeah, that's kind of what I do and everything about me.
Mm-hmm. So I've known Lee for a very long time, since the 7th grade. I think it was the 7th grade.
7th, yeah.
Me and him were helping a kid put on a belt right before school. You remember that?
Oh yeah,
James?
I remember that.
Yeah.
Good old James.
Yeah, because at Raw, in our old middle school, you had to wear a belt and tuck in your shirt to class, look presentable. And there was a kid that was struggling on putting on the belt, and he was having a nervous breakdown right there in front of everybody. And
He was not having it.
at the same exact time, me and Lee run up to this kid and we help him out.
Didn't know each other.
Didn't know
We
each other
both
at
got
all.
up, get out, yeah.
Yeah, and so like right after that, we introduced ourselves and became really good friends after that. So I've known Lee playing disc golf. I probably since senior year in high school you started playing.
Yeah, about 2018. Been playing
Yeah.
since 2018.
He's always tried to get me into playing it a lot, and I did for a little bit, but I kind of backed out of it. So as I learned tonight more things about disc golf, y'all shall too. So leading into some questions to Lee, how was disc golf introduced to you?
Kind of very casually. I've always seen the baskets out at parks and stuff. Like, we have our local course, Tom Brown, which is a very nice course in Florida, actually. It's actually one of the top
It's
10,
beautiful.
surprisingly, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or top 20, maybe not top 10, top 20, 30-ish in there. But it's pretty good. Yeah, so I just kind of casually got into it. One day I was at Tom Brown, saw the baskets. It was like, I think it was 4th of July we were out there. And I just had like a ultimate frisbee disc, or kind of like the lid one that you just toss with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
And we played it. We just threw it from one of the pads because I've kind of always known about it, but never really got into it. I grew up playing ultimate frisbee, so I've always been good at throwing some disc around. But yeah, we just happened to play the hole, and I was like, man, it's kind of fun. So went and bought some disc from the local store, played again sports. You've always seen one, but yeah, they always got some disc up and played again.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just kind of just started playing and fell in love with it. It's pretty fun. Real fun sport though, yeah.
I would have to second that. That is a very fun sport.
It is.
I
It's a
got
lot of
hooked
fun.
too, where I ended up buying like 30, 40. Well, I don't even know because I lost so many discs. But it is so fun. Honestly,
Yeah.
we're definitely blessed to have Tom Brown the way that it is. Because if
Mhm.
we didn't, I mean, there are a few others in town. There's actually one that they built at our church that we all went to.
Yes. Morningside.
Morningsides. But yeah, it's so much fun.
It
Without it's
Yeah.
free. It's free golfing. Pretty well, not free. You have to buy the discs.
But it's very, very cheap, yeah. And all the courses are on public property for the most part. About 90% of the courses are going to be on public property. So you just go buy $10-$20 disc and get started. It's not like any other sport where you gotta really invest. But yeah, it's a good thing. And since the best part is it's just kind of like a little walk in the park. That's my favorite part. It's just kind of get outdoors. Now during the COVID boom, that's when disc golf actually really started shooting out because it's like a good thing for people to do to get outdoors. So in the last couple of years, it's really been growing in the sports a lot, especially on the media side. A lot of more coverage has been going on. So
wasn't there coverage for ESPN recently?
yeah, we've had a few things on ESPN. I think on ESPN2, it might have been like CBS or something actually. But they actually had disc golf tournament on TV, which is really cool to see it going to like one of these big channels, and it was like post produced, so it was pretty cool though. Yeah.
That was really cool.
Okay, cool. So I've played. I'm not too familiar with kind of how the discs go. I mean, what are the different numbers that you'll find on a disc? What do those mean?
So yeah, the numbers on the disc, they can be very confusing for someone who's just getting into it, but it's very simple once you get the basis. It has 4 numbers. The first number is the speed. Second number is how much it glides. So some discs want to kind of fly through the air, some discs just want to die. So the higher the glide number, obviously the more it will glide. And then the part where it gets weird is that there's 2 numbers at the end, the turn and the fade. So the turn can be anywhere from 5 to like -5, or yeah, that sounds about right. Or maybe it's like 2 to -5, but depending on when that number is, depends on which way left or right it goes. At the start of the flight, and then the fade is the end of the flight. So when you're getting into it, you don't want to pay too much attention to the flight numbers and all that, because for the most part, most discs are going to fly the same for a new person. Of course, depending on how you throw, you'll need a different disc that turns a different way and all that. But yeah, people definitely get lost in the flight numbers.
Yeah.
They get addicted to like, oh, this is a 13 speed, it's going to go 500 feet. But in reality, if you're only throwing like 200 feet, you probably should be throwing a putter or mid-range or something.
Yeah.
So it's
what
not
are
like
the different discs that they have? Because like we play golf, we know how
Putters,
different irons and
irons,
stuff
yeah.
work. But what's the different ranges that you would find with like the different type of discs?
Yeah, it's very interesting. So not only do you have, it's very similar. The game is basically, it's called disc golf. It's like based around golf. So you have your putters, mid-ranges, fairways, and then drivers. And in each company of those discs, they'll have ones that turn, like I said, but they'll also have the same mold in a different plastic. So you can buy a disc that has, so for example, one of the most popular discs is called a Firebird. So for the Firebird, you'll have either like a premium plastic, which is kind of like more clear and a little harder plastic, better grip. But there's also like soft ones that are almost kind of like rubbery almost.
Yeah.
So the plastic's also going to affect a lot, but it's very interesting compared to golf, because with golf, most drivers are going to do the same thing. Some might slightly bend left or slightly right, but you can buy 2 of the same disc golf disc drivers, and they're going to fly much differently. Even though it's the same disc, there's going to be a little bit more variation in how they fly.
Yeah.
So that part of it is very interesting, is that you kind of have to find what disc works for you, and then you have to learn how that disc flies. It's not like golf where you can just grab a club and just go hit it, and it's for the most part going to do the same thing every time. So yeah, the fact that they're made out of plastic makes a lot of differences come from it. But yeah.
Also, when I used to play disc golf, I had the disc golf bug for probably almost close to a year, year and a half. I bought a bunch of discs, and heard a bunch of people tell me a bunch of different things about how to throw the disc, and they kept saying hyzer and anhyzer. As somebody who really doesn't know disc golf much, that's kind of like a foreign language. How would you explain that to a beginner?
So yeah, hyzer and anhyzer. All that does is explain the angle that you release the disc. So sometimes you'll release it like this, that's a hyzer, and then an anhyzer will be the other way, and then you have a flat. So the words actually hyzer and anhyzer, it's funny because they don't actually mean anything. It was just some guy who threw on that angle hyzer. He threw like this.
Yeah.
So he just called that hyzer. I know, it's funny. You'd think there'd be a big backstory for it,
Yeah.
some scientific meaning. Nope. Just some dude threw that way and he claimed it as hyzer. So
You're just trying to look smart.
I guess if you don't throw like him, it's called an anhyzer. But no, yeah, it's just the anti version of it. But it's funny, yeah. You'd think there'd be more to that story, but it is very much a foreign language. There's so much lingo inside the sport.
Yeah.
Like
Well, what's
flex
other lingo?
shot.
Oh, what's the other?
That's the flex
lingo's?
shots, like where you come back to it.
Mm-hmm.
You got a turbo putt where you put it like this and you throw it like a pizza.
Yeah, I remember you doing that a couple of
Yeah.
times.
Turbo putts.
Yeah.
Thumber.
Every time I play Lee, he beats me by probably like 20 shots
Oh,
by the fourth hole, so it gets not so fun very quick.
It's a humbling experience.
Yeah, it's very humbling, especially when you hit a tree 3 times in a row. I get it with golf when you're a beginner, but with disc golf, it gets very frustrating.
Very.
Yeah. But if someone was trying to get into disc golf and do something into it, where do they go to get discs and where do they go to play?
Okay, yeah. So, discs are actually surprisingly sold at a lot of places that you'd be surprised. So, like, a lot of your local retailers, like Walmart has some actually, but like Play It Again, Academy Sports, Dick's Sporting Goods, they usually do have a disc section, but online actually is the best way because you can actually get some Facebook Marketplace. There's a whole collectors group of just like different discs. But if you want to know where to go play, the best thing to do is there's an app called UDisc.
Oh, U-disc.
Yeah, with a U, not a U, but it's pretty cool because it will show you a map of all the courses in your area. So all you have to do is just tap on the map and it'll show you all the local courses in that area.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very accessible and it'll actually keep score on the app too. It'll show you a little layout of the course. Yeah, it's very cool.
When I used it for a bit, me and James went up to northern Alabama and we were looking for places to play. So James went onto that app and he found a really cool disc golf course that was around a bunch of baseball fields, soccer fields in it. One of the coolest courses we played, because we had mountains in the background while we played. UDisc is great if y'all do want to get into it.
Yeah, it's also a really good way to find parks.
Oh,
if
true,
you just want to like go and look for some parks if you're on vacation, usually most of the public parks that are the bigger parks or might have a disc golf course, depending on what city you're in, of course, in state. But yeah, if you're visiting like a big city and you want to find some local parks, usually sometimes Google can be a little tricky, but you can just type in the disc golf courses and look at the pictures on there, and you can either play disc golf or not, but you get a nice park there for you.
Yeah. So we're gonna take a little break, probably a 2-minute break. We'll come right back. But thank you, Lee, for coming in,
Yes,
talking
thank you.
disc
Thank y'all very
golf,
much.
teaching us a little bit. Shall we show them our handshake before we go
Yes.
to break?
Of course.
So me and Lee, we came up with a handshake when we started reffing paintball together.
I guess I'll get up too.
And yeah, this is kind of one we got to stand up for. It's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Smooth.
It was smooth. All right, so we'll be right back in just a second. Stay tuned. I should have had this loaded. I'm sorry.
Whoops.
All right, so coming back into it, we're going to be talking about the departure of Nick Saban out of Alabama.
Dun, dun, dun.
And we have and we have Kalen DeBoer coming into Alabama as their new head coach.
Leaving Washington after
Yeah.
losing in the college football playoff game.
Got out of there real quick.
Yeah, it is.
Ooh.
So, little recap of Nick Saban if you've been living under a rock for the past 20 years and you don't know who he is. Nick Saban won 13 SEC championships at Alabama. He was 292, 71, and 1 as a college head coach, and 201 and 29 at Alabama. That's pretty impressive.
Tide's rolling.
Yeah. At Alabama, he won 6 national championships, 1 with LSU, so that puts 7 in total. You know, every goat has 7.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying that. Just putting that out there. Yeah. What do you have on that?
Yeah, I mean, so I won't get into DeBoer stuff just yet. But the crazy thing is, Alabama is now in a spot they haven't been at since the mid-2000s.
Mm-hmm. Before he got there, yeah.
Before he got there.
Yeah.
Like, even the year that he got there, if you look back at it, he didn't have a good season. They lost to an FCS school. He lost to FSU in the bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything just clicked the next year. But this is the first time in a very long time that there's a new captain at the helm at the University of Alabama. A lot of people are speculative, especially with the amount of players that are entering the transfer portal,
Yeah.
going other places. I mean, I've seen a few go to Texas, seen a few even come to our, FSU. It's going to be an interesting, spot for DeBoer to fill in the GOAT's shoes.
Some big shoes to fill, yeah.
Very
It's
big
huge.
shoes, yeah.
I mean, after pretty much the stats that you were saying, like, he does not lose. He didn't lose a whole lot.
I've been asking myself for a long time, when is this guy going to retire? And I felt like you could kind of tell he was trying to get one more under the belt. And I think he just finally gave up.
Yeah.
I think
if he would have won this, do you think he still would have retired?
yes,
I
because of
think
the
so,
stuff
yeah.
that he's
Yeah.
going on with his wife, but also I think something that also helped after the USF win in Tampa, pouring down rain, they won like 17-9 or whatever the score was. He looked old.
Yes.
He looked
Aged a
so
lot.
old after that one game.
Yeah.
And he looked a little bit better without the year, but he just looked like he was tired. He was ready to hang it up. He's been at the game for a very long time. I mean, he was coaching in the NFL too. I mean, he's been coaching everywhere. I think it's
Well,
just
he's
time
coached
for
with
him to go.
Belichick with the Browns
Exactly.
way back in the day.
Way back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever
Well, Belichick is now departed with the Patriots.
the Patriots,
That's
they now have a
crazy.
new head coach. That actually is insane.
Yeah.
Someone else who's been there for forever hangs it up. He might go to a different team. That's in speculation. But as far as Nick Saban, I think he's done.
Mhm.
He still has an office at the University of Alabama at the stadium. Apparently, he's going to try to help DeBoer
Yeah.
with the transition into becoming the head coach. But even at the same time, I mean, imagine stepping in for Nick Saban and him being over your shoulder looking at everything you're doing. I couldn't do it.
Oh, I don't know.
I
if I
couldn't
could
do
either.
it.
Yeah.
I could not do it at all.
Yeah. Well, so what's a little background on DeBoer coming into Alabama?
So, DeBoer statistically is a very good coach. However, in just a little bit, you'll get my personal opinion. He does a great job. He has a very, like Saban, a very small loss win margin. I mean, 3 of the losses have come in the past. I'm pretty sure he's only had 15 to 18 losses, not as many wins or years coaching as Saban, but he still has the list. He still is a pretty good coach as it looks on paper. I mean, he was the first Washington coach to have won 11 or more games in consecutive seasons after last year going 11-2 and then 14-1 this year. I mean, he did good things with Washington with the certain amount of time he had there. He wasn't there for a very long time. Is Washington a stepping stone job? Probably, after seeing this, at least to go into Alabama.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he'll do a pretty good job. Did a good job at Washington. I mean, his Washington squads also went 10-1 versus ranked teams. I mean, that's amazing. That's amazing.
That's impressive
That's
as a
better.
coach. Yeah.
That is, what was that? A little over 90%
Oh yeah.
win rate. I mean, that's insane against ranked opponents. Now, it might change a little bit differently in the SEC because, 6-7 of the games are probably going to be ranked in the top 25 at least, depending on how the SEC schedule
Let's take a
goes.
look at their schedule next season and see how that looks.
Yeah, I know y'all talked about the Washington game and the Michigan game last week, right? Yeah, but man, what a heartbreaker, right? I think everybody wanted Washington to get that first one. I was
That was
rooting
a hard
for
game.
it. A lot of people I
My
saw
bankroll
were for
wanted
them.
Washington to win that game, but
Yeah.
alas.
Mhm.
All right, so we're kind of looking at the 2024 Alabama football schedule, kind of seeing what they're looking at next year. I've heard, I haven't looked at it yet, but I've heard reports it's not the toughest schedule out there. I feel like
Like always.
I mean, yes, they do have to play a few pretty hard teams this year, but at the same time, I feel like Florida has it worse than they do.
Oh.
I mean, they're starting off with Western Kentucky.
What, you don't think that's a win?
All I'm saying is,
Western
I-
Kentucky. I don't even know about them, so
exactly. So this is the
I
thing
hope
that I'm
that's a
saying.
win.
Wouldn't it be the funniest thing? I think they'll win. DeBoer gets his first win.
Yeah.
Alabama 1-0. Wouldn't it be the funniest thing possible? First game at Alabama loses to an FCS school.
That would be pretty funny.
Like the
Yeah.
Is he
half the
gone
state,
next year?
pretty much half the state of Alabama would absolutely combust. I know so many Alabama fans that would just go in a hole and never leave. But no, I think Western Kentucky, that's a dub
Mhm.
How
easily.
long did DeBoer sign for?
It's just a normal contract, like
Okay.
a 3-year minimum.
Okay.
Yeah.
The 3 biggest games that I see on their schedule, the only 3 big games that's like, maybe it's a toss-up, is Georgia, Tennessee, and at LSU. Those are the only 3 toss-ups I can see.
I can also see the at Oklahoma game being interesting, being that late in the season. And
You don't think Auburn's good next year?
So Auburn's stealing recruits. They're stealing transfers.
Okay.
But I still feel like they got another year to get good. Because they just lost their defensive coordinator coming over to Florida.
That's true, yeah.
I don't know. They got somebody to fill in that. Yeah.
But see, the way that you have to look at the schedule is they play Mercer, and then they have to play at Oklahoma the following week, and then the following week they play Auburn.
Yeah.
That's a tough little. It's pretty much every 1 to 2 games you have a hard game.
I think if they get momentum and they get a few wins under their belt, it's going to be a very interesting year. But yeah, if they lose any of those, if they lose to Georgia, I think it's going to be a little humbling experience for them, and they'll kind of retrace from there. And who knows what the end of the season comes in. But if they come in and they beat Georgia and Tennessee, I think it's going to look real good for Alabama. Yeah, we can see. We'll see.
You never know. Georgia
New
could
coach,
wound
new
them so
year.
much that they have a horrible season
That's
after
true.
that.
I honestly, I could see Alabama about 7-1 when it comes into November, but at the same time, I honestly feel like they're going to lose in one of those 4 games. Not Mercer.
Well, Missouri is making a comeback also. They
That-
had a very
I'm
good
very impressed
bowl
with
game
Mizzou.
against Ohio State.
Yes.
This whole season they've had great games. The only game that I was just like, oh, they should have lost was the Gator game because Florida just beat themselves that whole entire game. But that's besides the point. But I think Missouri is going to be one of the top runners in the SEC next year.
Missouri and Oklahoma, because no more conferences. I feel like those two are going to start making a step up in the SEC.
How do you think Texas is going to do?
I think Texas is they're going to do decent.
Yeah, about middle of the pack.
I don't think they're going to be in the SEC
I see.
championship.
I don't either.
Yeah,
I feel like they're going to be a 2-3 loss SEC team.
definitely.
Do I feel like somehow because of the SEC bias that they could get in as like a 12 seed in the playoff? Maybe. But I don't know. With as many teams that are starting on the rise now that have been coming up, I don't see that happening. I feel like we're going to have a pretty good slate this year. So,
Well, so rolling through, going into other college football news, FSU, and they had an NIL violation this past Thursday. A lot of FSU fans weren't too happy about it, but we'll let the big head honcho of homers talk about this one.
homers. So I have personal stuff about this, but we'll get into that in a minute. So FSU has an NIL violation. It's because our offensive line coach Atkins drove a recruit who we didn't end up signing at all to a collective. So pretty much, let me see. We don't have the NIL collective. It was something, the Spear. I can't remember what it was. It wasn't the Battles End, which is the main one for as far as moving revenue through FSU sports, mainly football. But yeah, somebody from Georgia's team snitched, and the NCAA has now come down with NIL violations and sanctions. Also, a little side note, FSU was actually already on sanctions when the sanction came down from when Willie Taggart was in as the coach at Florida State, which I'm every day wishing to forget. So the player was pretty much told that he would be paid $15,000 a month if he was on the FSU roster, which is it was when NIL was first starting, but it was still illegal to do because the NCAA hadn't made it legal pretty much at that time. They made it legal like months after it happened, because this didn't happen like a month, 2, 3, 4 months ago. This happened, I think, in 2022 or 2021. I mean, it stinks. He's going to be suspended. Coach Atkins, our offensive line coach, he's going to be suspended 3 games this season, probably the first 3, which you don't like it, but we'll be able to have him back whenever we play Notre Dame, which is going to be a good thing. Another thing, we're going to have a 2-year probation and disassociate with the NIL collectives. So that certain collective, according to FSU beat writers and people who write on the team, the current one that they're saying that we can't use anymore apparently has been downgraded to second tier sports. Not calling baseball, softball, any of that second tier, but just financially it is. So apparently that collective was actually paying NIL for baseball, softball, soccer, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And now that's their number one, and it's now been taken away because of football. Yeah. Because football now has the Battles End, which is their huge collective, which they pretty much mainly use for everything. Probably a few other stuff, but it sucks for other players as well, other than Florida State football, because now you're not going to be able to get better players in for other schools who, I mean, coming from a women's standpoint, they've been winning the Natties here recently. But, I mean, that's something that you also have to think about with that. But it's just for one season, so hopefully we can get another collective in there for the other athletes. It's not great. It's not bad. Apparently, according to the wordage of the report that our president and AD put out, it could have been worse. I honestly think that NCAA came out strong. It was like 12 games, all this.
Mm.
You have to pay us like triple, quadruple the amount of money, and then they just loaded it down to the first 3 games, be out, come back, 2-year probation, and then the 1 year for the season. It's not great, but it's not bad. I feel that this is the start of many teams getting caught.
Yes. I was just about to say that.
Many
Yes.
teams.
Yeah. Given that FSU is the first team, yeah.
It sucks that we've been through what we've been through for the past 2 months, and we're the first team that gets pretty much crucified for what we did. But we're not the first team. And there are going to be terrible sanctions that probably come out. In my personal opinion, a year, 2 years down the road, I think they're going to take Michigan's national championship away. But that's just me. It's going to be interesting for sure.
Yeah. What were you thinking, Lee?
Yeah, it's very interesting. People being, these college kids coming in getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a whole different dynamic now of them switching in between seasons and all that.
Yeah.
And I'm just really curious to see how it all comes out. But yeah, FSU being on the forefront of this, they do say all press is good press. So this could bring us some good recruits coming in. You never know, but
maybe, yeah.
Yeah, but it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. I think FSU is just going to be the first example on this. There's so many other schools like Ohio State, Clemson, Alabama. There's so many schools that have been funneling money through all these different NIL deals and everything. You know for a fact there's a lot of coaches overstepping those boundaries, and a lot of NIL organizations overstepping their boundaries, talking to all these players. So I feel like in the next couple of months before the football season starts in 2024, you're going to see probably 2 or 3 more schools, probably in the next month, get called out on probation.
At least.
By the time that the season starts, it's probably going to shake up that you're going to have a list on ESPN on the first day of college game day of all probation schools.
Yeah.
You're going to see a different landslide coming in perspective.
That can of worms has been opened,
Yeah.
so it'll be interesting.
Yes.
FSU is just the first worm to get picked.
Which, honestly, if that's all that they've really found as far as that stuff goes, and apparently when they look into those NIL like sanctions and everything like that, they look an overall thing to make sure we're not doing anything else.
Mm-hmm.
There could be some major teams that have been good these past 4 or 5 years that get found out that they were not doing what they were supposed to be doing to be good for so long.
Yeah.
So that's going to be definitely an interesting thing to kind of see what the NCAA does, even though I feel like eventually they're not going to have any power whatsoever.
Yeah.
No power whatsoever. But pretty much going back to the sanctions and the NIL violations, in the NCAA handbook it does state that it does prohibit coaches linking up meetings with prospects and boosters and promise NIL deals to persuade players to join the team, which, as you can see now, everyone is doing that. I literally saw what's his name that flipped from Alabama to Texas, the wide receiver. He's in Texas at a Lamborghini.
I saw that on Twitter.
Buying a Lambo.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here you go, kid. Here's a Lambo. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Hook 'em. Like, that's insane. But we offered the kid $15,000 a month.
I'd go buy a Lambo too.
You think about $15,000 a month, I would love to have.
Yeah. You
But-
put that in front of any 18-year-old kid's face, man, he's gonna bark at that.
I understand the NIL thing as itself. Players getting paid off their name, image, and likeness.
Exactly.
But I don't agree with colleges using it as a lure to get kids into being at their school.
They've been doing that stuff
I
since
know.
like the 80s.
But I get these schools will be using these kids as promotional ads around campus and everything, taking photos with like different Powerades or whatnot. Yeah, they should get paid off of that.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't be an incentive to go to a college. I get that it's happened a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but that shouldn't happen. I know I'm a fish out of water on a lot of boats on this, but like, I don't know. I really, it rubs me the wrong way with how NCAA is handling the NIL deals and how it's blown out of proportion and how it's turned into a free agency because
I like it.
well, you like it, but there's a lot of people that don't like it because
I think it was a little rushed.
yeah, because
It's a
every
little
semester
rushed,
you're a
yeah.
free agent. You can go anywhere you want, and like if you're a dual athlete, you could play football like the first part of the year at one college, then the second part of the year you're playing baseball at another college, and then the next following year you transfer back and go play football for the other college.
And yeah, see that can get really sloppy real quick.
Yeah, it's just
because
going where the money
and
is.
also take classes as they're doing these.
Yeah, and it ruins their
So,
academics too. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like being a student athlete is a big part of the college ball, so it kind of takes away the student athlete in a sense, I feel like. But yeah, I don't know. It's a very interesting period for college football.
As the GOAT once said, I didn't come here to play school.
You can play ball.
I didn't come here to play school.
Yeah, that is very true.
But kind of keeping on the FSU sides of things, there was some major news as well that also happened. The GOAT, the second GOAT, the second coming of the GOAT, Mike Norvell gets a extension at Florida State. There was surprisingly reports that my man was somewhat of a front runner at the University of Alabama for their head coaching position. Which
I knew he wasn't going.
Which I didn't think he was going to go either. Why would you go after one Saban goes there? Two, you're getting all these kids. You're building something. Why would you leave a spot like that? I understand it's Alabama. I understand it comes with a name, the Bear Bryant, Nick Saban, all that kind of stuff. But do you want to do that, or do you want to make your own legacy at Florida State, at this school where, in my personal opinion, there have only been one legendary coach that's ever coached here. Could he become the second one? That's it.
Maybe.
I mean, could he become the next Bobby Bowden, where we could be playing for a natty for 15 straight years?
This is his dream job.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This is his dream job. He keeps on saying it. He's staying, which is an amazing thing. Contracts, pretty nice. Pretty nice. He's in until 2029.
Got some zeros in it.
Yeah, he's going to be
Got some
averaging about
zeros.
10.6, I believe, $10.6 million a year in 8 years. So he has an 8-year contract now, which statistically, he's making almost as much money as Jimbo is, and like pretty much yearly, he's making how much Jimbo does, except in less amount of time. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Like instead of a 10 or a 12-year contract, he has an 8-year contract for 10 point whatever million, which makes him fall into the top, I believe, 5 or 6 head coaches as far as getting paid right now.
Jeez.
So, big money.
Yeah, because you get us some good players with that money.
Yes, we are definitely, which we need to.
Hold on.
What?
Norvell.
Before we go any farther with this,
Which?
we keep saying we.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
settle this right now.
Yeah.
What are you? Because
So
me and Lee have been to a Gator game together, rooting against FSU.
Yes.
This
So
man-
please explain.
I'll explain my situation. Yes, growing up in Tallahassee, it's very hard to not blend in sometimes.
I'm guilty of that too.
So,
I am.
you know, I root for FSU until it's game day FSU versus UF,
Okay.
and then the colors switch. But being phrased here, they've gotten a soft spot in my heart. I'll give it to them.
Okay.
Growing up, I was a little more stubborn, but dang, I kind of got Cardinal on that one. It's kind of close. But no, it's all love for FSU. But when I do say we, I may be talking about FSU, but I'm also talking about the Gators when I say we. It's a collective thing.
Okay, I get you on that.
It's always upside down you though.
That's what I'm talking about.
Always.
Why you look so sad? You wanted to say something else?
No, because I feel so uncomfortable sitting in between two fake FSU fans.
Whoa,
It's
whoa,
not
whoa,
fake.
whoa.
I've worn garnet
See,
gold to the game.
I like enjoying myself at football games. So I go to FSU games. I know FSU stuff, and I respect FSU. But
That's how they, I believe, both
Yeah.
feel. I, however, feel as if you're a Florida State fan, you cannot be a Florida fan, you cannot be a Miami fan, you cannot wear their colors, you cannot wear their emblem, none of that. But, I mean, it is what it is. I stand corrected. It's still nice.
Now,
It's
what
still
if,
nice.
switch the tables, say you were in Gainesville, and all your friends are Florida fans, and you're the FSU fan there? Does the table switch in your role? Because being a local, I feel
Yeah.
like you can understand how that's kind of like.
What do you mean? Like I would switch up and wear Gator stuff and everybody around me
Yeah.
is wearing Gator? No.
You don't
No,
want true? You think
At
you
the
don't
last
true?
FSU game,
You
I
don't know
sat
the
by
pressure.
myself for halftime around Gators in full FSU stuff, talking absolute trash to all of them.
Fair enough.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely to me. If Florida is playing Georgia Southern, I'm wearing FSU stuff. Actually, no. Honestly, I would wear Georgia Southern stuff.
You would go out and buy a store.
I would
Georgia
literally,
Southern
I would literally Amazon Prime next day a Georgia Southern shirt to wear
Wow.
that game.
See, you are a homer.
Yeah, I am a homer. Yeah, I mean, I have the tattoo. I don't know if you can see it on the. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I'm a homer.
Yeah.
They'll come over one day. Whenever
I don't know about
Florida
that.
Yeah, I don't know
has
about
about
that.
3 or 4 losing seasons.
Okay.
See, I got Gator helmets all over, so we're all around. Also got the Gator helmet here.
Hey, not.
It's a swamp bug up in
Oh,
here.
and also for that, y'all haven't seen it yet for the podcast. I did get my spear in here, and we did put the FSU head up.
Yeah.
We're slowly and surely going to put more decorations up here.
It's coming together.
Slowly coming together. Each podcast will get better and better and better, and then there'll be a point where we won't have to do anything more because it'll be 10 out of 10.
It'll just be a flow.
It'll be a flow, exactly.
So we're gonna take a little 2-minute break again, and then we're gonna be talking about the transfer portal. So buckle up. We got a lot of research to do,
Oh boy.
and we're gonna be talking a lot of stuff. Florida news about coaches and 2025 commits. What's other than that?
I mean, I'm going to be, whenever he's talking about probably both of them, I'm going to be talking about the massive catches we've been making as far as the, I guess it's the new South Carolina. It's the new minor league team, just picking people from Alabama left and right. But
Yeah.
we'll get into that as soon as we come back from break. We'll see y'all in about 2 minutes.
Get some of these new recruits coming in. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
But hey, man, saw you coming into town.
Yeah.
Alright, we're about to
come in here in a second.
Yeah.
So
We were just talking about how we should get some FSU players on here eventually. That would be hilarious.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna be talking about the transfer portal. Everybody, transfer! All right. Oh, hold on. My camera just randomly disappeared.
Oh goodness.
Oh, here it is.
Here it
Found
is.
it.
All right. Now you see us.
Right to it.
All right. So, update on FSU transfer portal because they've been diving deep recently.
Very, very, very deep. We have been, like I said, absolutely poaching these players from Alabama. We've gotten some key players that we really need as far as depth and really just better players in general. Some of the people that we have as far as a linebacker position really weren't getting the job done. So hopefully some of the transfers will help. So kind of starting off, first guy definitely is an Alabama former player. He's an Alabama linebacker transfer, Sean Murphy. 6'2", 225. He is a 4-star linebacker out of Alabama. That's a huge get as far as what we need as far as depth and just players in general. Somebody else that Jacob might know somewhat well. Definitely, I don't think he's going to be a starter, but he's going to be definitely good for a
Y'all have fun
line
with
draft.
it. Y'all have fun.
I mean, I feel like Atkins can turn him into something because I feel like Atkins is one of the best offensive line coach in the country right now. Because I feel like I feel Atkins in a few years might have a coaching position at a very high up college. It is a offensive lineman, which is good. Not the best college he's coming from. It's a transfer from University of Florida. Is going to be Richie. Is it Richie Leonard?
Yeah.
So
Richie
he's coming
Leonard.
from Florida to
UF,
FSU?
yep.
Yeah.
Offensive lineman. I believe, does he play center?
Outside line, I think.
Outside line. He's not that big as far as height. Does have some weight on him. 6'2", 310. He's going to be the lowest one we've gotten so far. 3-star. Back with another Alabama commit, Roydell Williams, Alabama running back. 5'10", short guy. Has some weight on him. 220, which isn't bad. Definitely our strength and conditioning coach. Coach Storm will definitely get some weight on him, especially with some muscle. He was a 4-star.
Some money.
He is a 4-star as well. Keeping on going down the line, Alabama interior O-lineman.
Oh, yeah.
This is what I'm excited about. Terrence Ferguson, 6'4", 320 pounds, 4-star transfer. That's a huge get that we need. I don't know how well he's going to play. I'm very optimistic, honestly. I mean, I don't really want to say since Alabama got them, they're good players. But, I mean, if you're a 4 or a 5-star coming out of high school and you're going to Alabama, you're doing something right.
Yeah.
Finish off the line, kind of who we've been getting in the past week and a half, kind of since we've had the last podcast. I don't know how to say his name. It's kind of like DJ Uiagalelei. It's Soin. Oh man, I'm gonna say it so wrong. Soin Lolihia. Go down a little bit. Go down.
Sion?
Down. Keep going. There we go. 4-star. Defensive lineman, Oregon State. Yep.
Man, it looks like a beast.
Oh my gosh,
How do you say his name?
I really don't.
Sion? Have you heard it?
Lolohe?
Well, anyways,
Lolohe.
he is Lolihia. Okay,
Lolohe.
Lolihia.
Alright.
So from Oregon State, defensive line. Bless you.
Thank you.
Not that tall. I mean, he does have some weight on him, which of course Coach Storm definitely can help out with. 6'3", 266. I could see him probably getting in the 280s to 290s with some some build. He has a pretty big body, Samoan. I mean, kind of like DJ. It's gonna be nice. I mean, some of the other ones we touched on in the last show. I mean, I believe we have 5 or 6 Alabama guys now. 2 Oregon State, which I feel like honestly we might be able to flip DJ's brother from Oregon. He's a defensive end as well. That would be a huge get. There are a few
That
other
would be
Oregon
cool.
State players that are opening up the transfer portal. I mean, we could have some guys come after spring practice. I mean, it's going to be a good get. But that's kind of far as FSU's transfer portal's going. We haven't had a whole lot of commitments, except a huge flip. It's 4-star on some sites, 5-star on another one. Huge guy. I believe he's going to be a wide receiver from Alabama. He was committed to Alabama, flips to FSU yesterday. So that's a huge commit for the 2025 class. He's coming in next year. We'll see if we can keep him and land him after this season coming up. I feel like we can, but that kind of wraps up as far as Florida State. What moves has been happening in the swamp?
So last week, I brought up about Florida going after Ron Roberts, and it is official. Ron Roberts is now part of Florida staff. He's going to be the executive head coach, co-defense coordinator, and linebacker coach. He is a very good ad coming from Auburn. Auburn did have that little choke game against, what was that school?
Alabama?
No. Well, they did have the choke
New
against
Mexico
Alabama.
State.
New Mexico State. The one game that everybody was just like, what the heck happened to Auburn? Was a very bad defensive game, but he is a great coach. He's been with Napier one time before, so he knows Napier, get things going. Hopefully they get the defense side of the ball looking a lot better, and pulling some transfers coming in. Probably pull some transfers from Auburn because they pulled some from us, so might as well do the old switcheroo. But going into transfers in, we did have Clay Millen come in from Colorado State. Very good, another quarterback. So that puts us 3 quarterbacks in the room for this next year. Mertz will still be the starter. But DJ is supposed to be, I guess, learning from both guys now. Be very cool to see DJ Lagway get a little bit of playing time freshman year, but having Clay Millen come in, he was a starter at Colorado State, so him taking a little back step, going behind Mertz, is probably not what he wanted, so he's going to be a lot of competition right there coming into the offseason. I feel like that'll give Mertz an edge to come in and start playing a little better, but if not, we have another quarterback with some college prep time in it to come play.
Definitely new.
I see
Change
that
is good.
smile on your smirk. Yeah.
Change for Florida is good though. I like getting Ron. I think it's gonna be a good change. So that's gonna be nice for Florida. With the new recruits coming in, I think the Mertz. I think he could have his money tested by some of the new QBs. Especially with not having the greatest year last year. He played well.
He did play very well. He was
well.
one of the shining spots in the offense.
For sure.
That's true. But yeah, we'll see what these recruits got coming in.
We also pulled Grayson Howard, linebacker from South Carolina. He's a 4-star recruit. He's pretty good. Oh wow! Of course, I guess Wi-Fi is just not working with me right now. But in other news, we also have we got DJ Douglas, a safety from Tulane. I thought was a good transfer.
Battle of the DJ.
Yeah, so we got a bunch of DJs coming around in the state of Florida. We got DJ, however you say his name. Yeah, DJ Lagway and now DJ Douglas. We also did have Trezwez Bridges, a cornerback from Oregon.
Jaquez.
Oh, that's
Triquez.
Triquez?
Yeah, Triquez.
Triquez. All right, that's how you say his name.
I said it with full confidence.
What a last name.
Yeah, we did get an edge too. A 3-star edge,
Gumps.
George Gumps. But
Hopefully, there's some more transfers coming in. Napier has some things up his sleeves. But for 2025, going into it, we are starting to look pretty good. It won't go up.
It won't
What?
show you. You can see 2025 on mine.
I was just looking at it last night. I was just about to go to it.
Maybe it's because it's the portal. You have to go to your actual regular transfers.
Oh yeah, you're right.
You're not going to have a transfer portal for 2025. That would be hilarious.
I got you.
I don't know, it's technical difficulties.
Junior
He's
in
trying
high school.
He's trying to get around 24/7 outlooks. We're using a non-disclosed thing to use for our stats. It was not the said one that I just said.
And boom, I got it. All right.
And they got all the way to 2028.
Yeah, it goes way far. So for Florida news, we got 2025 offers. Where'd all my stuff go?
Where did all your stuff go?
This is everybody. Wow. Okay. I guess more difficulties. Oh, okay. Coming out of Tallahassee, Jalen Wiggins from Rickards. Yeah.
Jalen
This-
Wiggins from
This is what I really
Rutgers.
wanted to bring up because I thought that was cool when I saw this last night when I was going through it.
Super cool.
Somebody from Tallahassee is getting looked at by Florida. I think is really cool. And there's a punter from Childs that is getting looked at by Florida. So there could be two Tallahassee kids making their way over to Gainesville and playing. I would love to see. But that kind of wraps up Gator news as of yesterday and today.
Yeah.
Guess that's coming up towards the last bit of our show. I'm sorry, and it was a long episode. Hopefully we could get transitions going a lot smoother. I tried to do some test runs this past week, try to get things smooth, but I guess I gotta do some more work. Because as of right now, my screen that I have to use is just sitting here with a loading pinwheel. Because I was going to try to screen share the stats we were looking at. But
No, I won't get out of it.
yeah,
So now we can't technically stop the stream.
I think we can. I can figure out how to do it.
We're going on for all night.
Yeah, we're going to do 24-hour live stream. I'm
Absolutely
joking.
not. Absolutely not.
Speaking of 24 hour, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, I am going to Daytona for the 24-hour race.
Heck
I'm
yeah.
excited for it. I know a lot of people go, oh, you go to Daytona, so you going to the 500? No, 500 is in February. It's in January. It's IMSA, sports car racing. I kind of want to do a little bit of video shooting while I'm there,
Who are you
so
rooting
people
for?
can see. My team is the Wayne Taylor Racing. They have two cars now. They used to have only one Acura, but now they got two cars, number 10 and number 40. They got the two brothers in each car, Ricky Taylor and Jordan Taylor.
Yeah, there you go.
One of my favorite two sports car drivers. Actually, Jordan Taylor is trying to transition to NASCAR. He did a couple of Xfinity races this past year and did one race for Chase Elliott.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool. So, never know, he could be trying to make a little slow entrance in the NASCAR.
Big money right
Yeah.
there.
I don't know if there's an audience that we have for NASCAR, but if so, let us know. We can try to talk about some NASCAR stuff. James is very knowledgeable in that, so
Yes.
me and him can do a little segment on that. But if so, let us know about everything. But I think without further ado,
Yeah, also, I want to say,
never
also,
mind. I'm sorry.
if y'all wanted to see some disc golf content too, I've been thinking
yes.
about doing some disc golf content. So if there's anything y'all want to see in the future, maybe go out to Tom Brown or Jack McLean, get some holes viewed. We can talk football while we play. That'd be cool.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, thank you for having me, though, by the way. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, of course, a lot of fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
shout out High Five, man.
Yeah. Originally, we were trying to do the podcast last night, and Josh had something come up, so I was trying to like think quick. I called Lee up. I said, "Hey man, you want to do a podcast tonight?" And I was just going to do an interview about the disc golf stuff and talk a little bit about it. But he had some scheduling conflicts last night too.
Bailed out on you.
Yeah, so we basically created a little group chat between us three, and we put in all the stuff for tonight and decided to do everything all together.
Yeah.
But I think it turned out very well.
It turned out great.
Yeah.
Very fun. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank y'all. We gotta handshake it. And me and Josh do not have a handshake, sadly, but
Yeah.
give you a good old gentleman's. That's good.
But yeah,
I guess we'll do our handshake for you to sign off.
indeed.
All right. Thank y'all for coming.
Peace out.
Peace.
All right. We might be here for a bit. All right. There's only one way to do this.
Oh, well, they're going to see bloopers now in live feed. So, currently, to let all y'all know what the situation's arising, maybe? No.
Oh, no.
What are you doing? Hit the other one.
I hit the wrong thing.
Wait. Alright. Oh, no, it's not going to work.
Okay. I know what we need to do.
The show must go on.
Oh, my goodness.
It's
Maybe.
okay. It's okay. Everybody stay calm. If you're still watching, I hope you're laughing.
Probably not. Probably like, what in the world's going on? Wait, hold on.
Just control, delete that.
You're funny. I have no idea what he's doing. How is it going?